The Hawk Tuah podcast is terrible.
Hot Tuah.
She literally looks like a goddamn pig. Oh my gosh, bro.
Americans and the Pilgrims had a fun dinner.
Didn't they have a turkey too?
They didn't have a turkey too. Jesus Christ, bro.
Hawk Tuah. Those two words are something that I've been trying to avoid talking about.
Bro, why are we listening to a duck commentate over a video? Like, is that what our lives have come down to?
Out for the last few months, but recent events have made it basically impossible for me to continue to do that.
Everywhere on the internet, Hawk Tuah, talk to her, Hawk Tuah, talk to her. Oh my gosh, look guys, look. It almost feels like it's fake. Like, the amount of time we have to hear this girl's voice, bro.
She made a podcast. Now, if none of the words I just said make any sense to you, then I don't even really know where to begin. If you're unfamiliar with the Hawk Tuah girl, as she's commonly referred to, welcome to the internet. Glad to be the first video you've ever watched on the World Wide Web. But basically, the Hawk Tuah girl, aka Haley Welch, is a young woman who recently got famous for a street interview she gave, where she talked about a method of a man's in which she
like no censoring words, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Spits on it, or Hawk Tuahs on that thing. Now, if you're like me, you might be wondering, why did that make somebody into a millionaire famous person? And honestly, I don't have an answer for you. My running
I know why, Bob. I'm finna get demonetized.
Theory is that it's because kids these days are really into stupid little phrases that they are somehow able to take and change its meaning entirely. Think about the gyats and the goofy ahs, stuff like that. I feel like Hawk Tuah kind of fits into that. Kids like saying stupid these days, but that's nothing new. I feel like Hawk Tuah just really managed to resonate with the youth. You couple that with a lot of executive corporate types not really understanding virality, and then you've got the Hawk Tuah girl invited to be like the keynote speaker for shit, with 6-figure payments being direct deposited to her bank account to, I don't know, talk about spitting on I guess. I don't really know what she does. All I know,
this guy is so boring, bro. He's so boring. This guy's literally so boring, bro. So
that she's been showing up a lot of places that really make no sense for her to show up at. Whatever it is she's doing, though, it's working for her because she's basically become a household name over these last few months. And just like anybody who gets famous.
Guys, what would you do if it was actually your family member that got caught on camera saying Hawk Tuah spinning that thing? Or your sister.
In a very short amount of time, she's made a podcast. And, well, how do I
oh
put
my
this
God.
nicely? You can
the Hawk Tuah girl made a podcast?
Tell that she's only been famous for a couple of months, and that she got famous for the reasons that she did. It's been said a million times before, not everybody needs a podcast. Somebody who has literally nothing to talk about other than the fact that they made a funny comment during a street interview is one of those people. But that's not going to stop us from watching it because it is really, really bad, and you need to see that, okay? So let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Come on, Haley, it's not that bad. All right, it's time to get out of the bed and quit rotting. Haley, get up. All right, I'm ready to talk. So I wanted to start my...
Yo, who are these people, bruh? You got them bumpkins, the ugly stepsisters coming in and busting down the door, bruh.
Get out of the bed and quit rotting. Haley, get up. All right, I'm ready to talk. So I wanted to start my podcast out here in Belfast, Tennessee, where I was born at and where I've been ever since until
Belfast, Tennessee.
a few weeks ago and everything changed. No, really, I even learned that you can't bring a box cutter on a plane.
Okay, so this is how the podcast starts. Not doing any fancy editing here to make this look worse than it is. This is the intro. And I think it's really funny that she decided to include the fact that she didn't know you can't take a box cutter onto an airplane, out of all things. Like, she could have said anything here, right? But she chose to go with that, and this podcast episode was uploaded on September 10th. Now, after this, the first few minutes of the podcast is basically what you'd expect. Introducing the guest, introducing the host, stuff like that. Now, as I'm sure you've assumed, we're going to be jumping around a lot. We're not going to be watching the entire thing, unfortunately. It is almost an hour long.
Oh, really, bro? I really wanted to hear the Hawk Tuah girl talk and speak her mind on the political, economic state of the world.
That's part of the first thing they talked about, which they've chaptered rewriting history. You'll see why.
I hated history in school, and I was just...
Well, what's the point of memorizing any history because we've now learned that none of it was true?
Yeah, that seems like a bit of an oversimplification, but sure.
I learned that the Native Americans and the Pilgrims had a fun dinner.
That's what I got from.
I learned that they put on their best shoes with buckles and their best hat, and they all sat down and shared maize. They had corn, and they had a cornucopia, and it went great. And now
Didn't they have a turkey too?
Okay, so for some reason this stood out to me. Me and Haley.
Didn't they have a turkey too?
Or the Hawk Tuah girl. I don't know what she likes to be referred to as. I'm gonna say Haley for the rest of the video. We're the same age. I'm 3 months older than Haley. We are both 22 years old. And this is just complete bullshit, right? Anybody else my age here to back me up? I can't speak on behalf of Whitney. She's 42. I don't know what went on in the 20 years between us. But maybe it has something to do with the fact that she says she hates history, so maybe she wasn't paying attention. But I definitely did not get the whole, oh yeah, the Native Americans and the colonizers, yeah, they were really good buddies. And I'm from the South. Surely, there is not a chance in hell that there is a modern curriculum left in the United States that is still trying to pretend like we were super friendly to the Native Americans, right? Right?
Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1962.
1492.
Okay, he didn't teach me very fucking much.
I think the most history until now has kind of been gossip, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just like, you know what I mean?
Well, like, I feel
you
like if
said.
I won a battle, I'd be like, not only am I going to tell this story, but I'm also going to say like my opponent was like fat and stupid. Like, you know, I'm going to add insult to it too.
Yeah, totally.
Because he's not here to set the record straight.
Right, there was no way. I mean,
won.
people are like, what if ChatGPT like photoshops photos? It's like we had paintings before where the king was telling them what to paint. I mean, that was probably worse than Photoshop.
Yeah, I'd be right.
Like Mona Lisa.
Okay, I need to ask you guys this sincerely. Do you think this is a bit? Like, is this a character or something? Is she sort of playing up the whole simple Southerner thing or what? Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but listen to the words at the
It definitely is like a character thing, or she's trying to like relate to a people that like are like regular, I guess, or something.
these people are saying. Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1962, and a king told somebody to paint the Mona Lisa for history. Like, what?
So you've had Jake Paul. You've had, I don't know what order you're going to do these in, but you've had Jake Paul on?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes, so far.
Jake's pretty well.
He's a little spooky to talk to.
Really?
That's like a man, you know. That
Yeah.
is not like a little soft boy, you know. It's easy to talk to. That's a whole man right there.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, she was scared that Jake Paul BBC, even though he's not black.
last girl over here talking to this grown man. I was like, what the f*** am I talk to him about, you know?
Haley, you are 5 years younger than Jake Paul. What's with the weird infantilization?
He was exactly what I expected. Like, he lets on like he's, and that's what I like about him. He owns up to that shit. He knows it. That's what, I got respect for him for that.
I like that.
Like, do.
And he's comfortable with controversy.
Yeah,
He's okay with it.
Very comfortable with that.
Yeah, we're like 4 minutes in, and we're already endorsing Jake Paul just because he's a douchebag. This is my new favorite podcast, guys. I've never understood this logic, and I've heard it be used a surprising amount of times. Yeah, that guy's a fucking dick. Nobody wants to be around him. Nobody really likes him. But you
Bro, Jake Paul is not that bad as people say. Like, they be acting like these internet celebrities are like terrible people, bro. Like, what's the worst he's done, bro?
know what? He knows that about himself, so he gets my thumbs up. Very strange thing to promote.
Just imagine if Chelsea said hawk Tuah and not you that night. Would Chelsea be sitting in that chair?
I would not have dealt with it as good as you did.
I think you're
Can we
full
hear
of
you say
shit.
it?
She don't give a her
Let's just-
problem.
let's just hear you
she
say
does
it.
not give a single.
One more time?
I can't do it as good as
Do
you.
it.
You do it.
No, you do it.
Hop to.
She knows she's being under them sheets with them big old nasty slobbering dudes, bro. Hawk tooling that thing, bro.
You gotta put like an emphasis on it, like tuh. You know, like tuh. Yeah. Say it. All right, all together.
Hop to.
Hot tuh.
Hop to.
Say it aggressive, like
Hop
really.
to.
Like, you're mad at
Hop to.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I first heard about this podcast, this is honestly what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be sort of like Hot Ones, at least spiritually, in a way, where anybody who comes onto the podcast has to go through this like Hawk Tuah gauntlet. You got to prove you can Hawk Tuah with the best of them. So I'm glad to see that they took my idea. Is this entertaining for people? Like, am I just miserable? You know, I ask that question a lot in my videos. Maybe I should go talk to somebody, but like, seriously, is this funny to others? Am I the issue? Please let me know.
Have you ever had at a man's house?
Yeah, I don't even try to hide it.
Okay.
Real,
But we
real
got
shit.
it. We got it. We got the soundbite.
Yeah.
It's going to make her as famous as Haley.
Holy shit,
It
man.
makes sense too. Why?
We got a soundbite! We got a soundbite, guys! We got a soundbite!
Shitting with
I'm
Chelsea.
just trying to hide it. I'm in.
She's hop to spit on that thing. I'm hop
It's
to.
a that thing.
Please get her a hat that says.
That thing.
Okay, maybe.
That respect.
Oh my god. I never knew 30 seconds of a video could make me feel physically ill. By the way, we've skipped like 25 minutes of the podcast. I'm sorry, but they were just talking about getting drunk and then like vaginal wigs. I don't know what's a joke and what's not, but I had to show you guys the thing segment followed up by a dab. And look, I know I said that made me feel physically ill, but really, if we're being honest, I can't think of a more appropriate podcast for somebody to whip out a dab. It feels right.
Oh yeah, Haley's first flight
sick.
ever, Whitney, by the way. Her first flight she ever went on was like 3 weeks ago now, maybe a month ago.
About a
And
month.
So you had never flown before you went viral?
No, and everything in my damn like carry-on.
She
it got
brought a knife.
confiscated. Actually, it was 2 knives and they got confiscated.
You brought knives to the airport.
yeah.
You got a little girl going out here somewhere she's never been, unarmed. You've lost your fucking mind.
You brought weapons into TSA in 2024.
He's like, ma'am, what's this? And I was like, oh.
Okay, why are we going back to this little girl stuff? Look, I have no problem with somebody being armed. You best believe I'm
What's
not
wrong with this little girl stuff, huh? Huh? August the Duck?
leaving the house if I'm not strapped. But I feel like everybody knows that you don't take that kind of stuff to the airport, right? Like, I feel like that's a universal thing. Obviously, there are ways that you can legally take guns and knives into an airport, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I don't think I've ever met a person in my entire life, whether they've flown or not, who thinks you can just walk onto a plane with a knife. Now, we've been jumping around a lot, but I promise you, you haven't missed anything important. I kind of let this play in the background while I was doing something else, just to really get the full experience, and some of this
Just to like get the full experience, man. Maybe you should put a box cutter in your yacht. Maybe that's what you should.